I'd like to talk about healing in real time. But before we start talking about that, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Ghazala at the Heart and Soul Cafe. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're here for the first time, you're very, very welcome. So healing in real time. When we talk about any kind of healing, there's textbooks about healing from grief, from mental health struggles. Yes, and I've read quite a lot of content about these subjects and about healing. But this video is really about how we can read something. It's quite easy, isn't it, to read and to sort of reel off to somebody else, oh, this is how it is, and this is, we talk about 5 stages of grief, and this is how we should be doing it, and this is where we should be at. Well, no, that's not real, and that's not right, because in the real scheme of things, in real time, healing is a very individualistic, very personal thing. And I'm trying to stop myself from using the word journey, but we tend to use that word quite a lot. It's your own experience. Healing for me is a continuous thing. I'm continuously healing. I'm grieving after losing my son over 4 years ago. The healing is a continuous thing. It's almost like when I talk about stress and the stress container, stress has an on switch, it doesn't have an off switch. So stress is always continuously coming in, but you have to find ways of dealing with that stress and releasing that stress in order to live your life. Otherwise, the container, the stress container, overflows and you're in trouble. It's similar to grief for me, that I have constantly got grief symptoms, but it's how I deal with them. I'm constantly also having to deal with them in a way where I can process them, acknowledge them, process them, be aware of them, and that way I can keep things a little bit in control. Does that make sense? If I don't check in with myself and with grief, it doesn't go away. It doesn't sit in the corner and say, oh, Ghazala's a bit busy at the moment, let's just, put our head down for a bit. It doesn't do that. It doesn't do that at all. It comes and it shows its ugly head. It absolutely does. So I have to acknowledge it. I have to give it time. I have to analyze and see where I am and, put things into place if I am struggling in any way with my mental health, with my grief symptoms. Because if I don't, then I'm going to find that I can't function. I can't do the things I do. I can't do this kind of work. I wouldn't be able to run this YouTube channel. I probably wouldn't be able to counsel women who have also experienced child loss. I probably wouldn't be able to work in mental health first aid, where I deliver courses, in mental health. And I deliver other courses too, in, neurodiversity, sexual harassment, diversity, equity, inclusion. So there's all sorts of things that I do. I probably wouldn't be able to do any of that if I wasn't dealing with what's going on up here and here. It's finding ways to deal with what it is that you're carrying, what it is that you're experiencing. And when we talk about healing, it's not usually, and it is sometimes, it's not, but not usually, that you get to a place where you have healed and that's it, then you don't look back. It's a constant thing. It becomes a way of life. For me, this is a way of life. My mental health struggles as a result of losing my son, so my grief symptoms and the fact that can, throw me into depression every so often, is something that I'm aware of, is something that I try to I try to avoid those triggers, if you like, and I know what those triggers are. And sometimes it's very difficult because not everything is in your control. Things happen around you. For example, one of my daughters is struggling, and, her grief is also my grief because I feel what she feels. You see, so that's secondary grief on top of my own grief that I'm experiencing, and becomes hard work. So I may be, pottering along quite well and doing okay. And then, someone else who I care for and love very much, if I know that they're struggling, then I will take that on. And that might sort of drag me down, and that might lead to, bouts and episodes of depression for me. But it's something that I'm mindful about, something that I know that's pretty inevitable, living this life and living in this world with everything that life throws at you. It is inevitable, it's going to happen, and I'm mindful about that. And being mindful about it means that you are prepared. And that does not mean that, I'm going through my life thinking, oh, what's going to happen next? And I'm constantly on this, anxious, it's not like that either. I do experience, happiness as well, and joy that life also throws at me. And I'm grateful for those. And I do, I do exercise, gratitude. I do acknowledge, all the things that I have and all the blessings I have in life. That's very meaningful and important for me. But at the same time, I think it's quite important to be real about what it is that you're carrying and what it is that you're feeling. Your experiences are important. And healing in real time is about what healing is for you. What does it mean for you? Because a lot of people, when I talk, to my clients, a lot of the time, my clients will say things like, how long am I going to carry on feeling like this, after their loss? How long is this going to go on? When is this ever going to end? Is it ever going to end? Am I ever going to, be over this? And I said, well, yeah, you might be. You might be over this one day. But from my experience, when it comes to loss, no one truly gets over it. We just learn to live with it, and we learn to accept and embrace it as something that is a part of us, that we carry. When we make it a part of us, it's no longer working sort of against us. You make it work with you. So you turn pain into sort of positivity, if you like, or turn some of that pain into love and spread that love in some, meaningful way. That's really what I have done with it. And that's how I've coped with it. And that's how I am coping with it. And not always. I'm not always coping with it, really well. But most of the time. And, I could have given up. I could have been in severe depression on medication, having some, maybe experiencing some addictions perhaps of certain things. And I don't think anyone would have, sort of pointed their finger at me and said, oh, look at Xala, she's ended up, doing, I lost a child. And I think some people might have said, oh, okay, because I know a lot of people that do live their life that way after their loss, that they haven't really been able to, not that it's a failure, I don't mean it to sound like a failure, but they have struggled with the acceptance of their loss to the extent where they've not put things back into their life where they can, move forward and live their life. in any, well, if I sort of say in any meaningful way, that sounds very judgmental, and I don't want to judge anybody. But it might be something that they've said themselves to me as a client, where they've said, but, you know, I'm not living, I'm just existing. You know, surely there's something else in my life, something more than just this. I don't want to just exist. I want to live my life. I want to be there for my other children or my husband or whatever that is. You know, and that in itself, that acknowledgement and that admitting that is probably a good 30-40% in the direction of, you know, where that person needs to go to get there, to that goal, where they are living, not just surviving, they are living their life to the best of their ability. Because they've acknowledged that, you know, they're living their life in the way that they are, where they're talking about it, that they're just existing and they don't want to just exist for the rest of their life. So healing in real time is something that we should all think about. It's coming to terms with what it is that you're experiencing and carrying and owning it, acknowledging it, owning it, educating yourself about it as much as you can, because education about the subject or the topic is empowering. Yeah, and it just helps you to put things into place to help you thrive and not just survive. Yeah. So, yeah, healing in real time, what does it mean for you? Please do comment. Please do share this video if you feel that it might help someone else that you know. Please like, subscribe, please comment. Thank you to those of you who have subscribed. It means so, so much to me. Thank you so much for that. But we need lots and lots. We need many, many more people subscribing. So please do that. Thank you for watching this video. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, look after your hearts and souls. Thank you.